Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Conflicting reports this evening about the success of U.S. strikes on Iran's nuclear sites.
ABC and CNN citing early intelligence reports saying the bombings only set back Iran's nuclear development program by a couple of months. President Donald Trump contradicting that report today. He said, quote, "Our bombing campaign obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons," end quote.
However, some Israeli officials supporting CNN's report saying they believe Iran has other facilities to continue that nuclear program. The Associated Press also reporting that President Trump told Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu not to expect more U.S. military action against Iran in the future. Iranian leaders saying today they will follow that ceasefire agreement as long as the other country stays in line. Israel agreeing even after a strike on a residential building killed at least 4 people in that country's capital overnight. It ends nearly 2 weeks of missile strikes between the two countries. The conflict began after Israel pushed for Iran to stop working toward a nuclear weapon. Iran pushing its nuclear program purely for peace reasons, it says. Chief political reporter Jason Zimmerman has been hearing from members of Congress on both sides as this conflict plays out. He is live in the studio tonight. Jason.
Cammie, reactions so far divided along party lines, with the 2 Republicans representing Northeast Wisconsin in the U.S. House supporting President Trump for taking decisive action in efforts to stop Iran from having a nuclear weapon. However, Democrats say the president also ignored the Constitution in the process of doing so. It was during a visit to Door County this past weekend that Congressman Tony Weed first heard of the U.S. attack on Iran. And during an interview Tuesday afternoon from Washington, D.C., he told us he supports President Trump's decision.
If he felt with the information and the intelligence that he had that this decisive, bold action was necessary, trust his judgment, and clearly we're finding out that it was.
However, a number of Democrats are now pushing for a vote in the U.S. House to go on the record to tell the president no offensive war in Iran without prior authorization, knowing there's a chance the ceasefire could fall apart. While Senator Tammy Baldwin wasn't available for an interview Monday or Tuesday, she did release a statement saying in part, quote, "President Trump's bombing of Iran without Congress's approval ignores the Constitution, is putting our men and women in uniform at grave risk, and puts us on the verge of an all-out war. President Trump owes the American people some answers on why he thinks he can flout the law and what the path forward is to find a peaceful solution," end quote. Republican Congressman Glenn Grothman, who's also in Washington, told us over Zoom that he disagrees with those saying the president went beyond his power.
Well, if you got a country with the intelligence to make a nuclear weapon, and they're promising, in essence, that if they ever get it, they're going to try to destroy us in the United States, it kind of requires action.
For Democrats to pass the resolution they're calling for against Trump taking further offensive action, they would need Republican votes. Also in politics, some Republicans are calling for a change in leadership at the state level. Find out why this is the case and how Chairman Brian Schimming is responding a bit later on Action 2 News at 6. Chris, back to you.